Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of the Maconi Setup Shop A-Fix Tutorials. This week we're looking at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway, so strap in and let's get to it. Interesting way to get around this place. I know we've done a video on this track before. Not a whole lot has changed, it's just, the time of day is kind of a pain in the butt. You're still going to be shifting down into third gear for turns 1 and 2, and then you're going to be shifting into 5th along the back straightaway, and then you only need to shift into 4th gear for turns 3 and 4, and then you'll be back into 5th on the front straightaway, and repeating that cycle over and over and over and over again. Um, Another thing about Gateway, I know I've covered in the past, but still very important to mention, is the very first lane in turns 1 and 2 is severely less banked than the rest of the racetrack. So typically you're going to want to run the second lane at least. I like the diamond, so I like to try to enter for the second lane, let it drift up to the third, and then pull it back down. You can wrap the second lane, you just don't get as good of a run off. It's better for your tires, but you do give up a lot of speed, as you can see right here, how I kind of let the car swing out in the middle and then pull it back down the racetrack. That's where you get that nice big run off of turn 2, carry a lot of momentum down to three and 4 here. Um, I think ideally you want to get a little closer to the rumble strip. I definitely don't want to touch it. Whenever I touch it in my previous runs, I don't spin out, but it does kind of upset the car a little bit. Gets me a little squirrely and then pushes me offline for the exit. So I kind of prefer to be a little wider. Um, as you can see right here, this lap, as I was mentioning, I tried holding the second lane in 1 and 2, and you just don't get the rotation. You can't really get the throttle down, and I lost a lot of time there. This 3 and 4 is a lot better. This is more of what I'm talking about. I want to get as close as I can to it without touching it, but I also want to make sure that I'm as close as I can on exit. That way I can let my wheel straighten out for the exit, put the power down. If I get loose, I know I can just take my foot off the gas a little bit. But like we've talked about so many other places, the last thing you want to do is have a lot of wheel input while you're getting on the gas, especially here. Even off of turn 2, you're in third gear, you got a lot of RPM, a lot of torque. The last thing you want to do is be cranking wheel into it while mashing the gas, because you're going to get loose and ultimately you're going to end up crashing or putting yourself in a really tough position. Uh, Very rhythm racetrack, I find. Like, again, with cars, I feel like it's going to be difficult to pass, so taking care of your tires is going to be the most important. Um, I don't really have a lot of laps racing around here. I've run laps here before, but I don't really have a lot of racing experience. And the races that I have run here, I don't really remember how I did, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Um, Also, a different time. I don't really think I've raced the next gen car around Gateway either. I think it's either Truck or Xfinity, which is kind of a different animal. Again, really, you've never really been able to use the bottom lane, to my experience, in 1 and 2, just because of how much flatter it is. I don't know what series you would be able to use it in, but at least with this car, because of the difference in banking, um, you guys know as well as I do, if you do get down to that first lane, as soon as you cross over and you have that difference in banking, the diffuser's going to hit, and things are going to happen. It's also a lot tighter down there, so you're going to be going way slower. Anybody who's running the second and third lane, like this, if you're running the bottom, you might be able to do something on entry like a slide job, but you're going to give up so much momentum through the center that if anybody crosses you over, in my opinion, I feel like they should clear you pretty easily down the back straightaway as long as they get a decent run. Um, but this is all hypothetical stuff that I'm trying to speak of at this point. Um, really, like I said, I feel like it's just going to be a battle of trying to save your tires. I know I've said rhythm racetrack. I don't really have very many braking points, but even from watching the replay, like going into turn 1, it's like when I get to the end of the pit wall, I'm already on the brakes. Much better to be easy in, hard off here, in my honest opinion. You don't want to be pushing through the center. Um, in either corner, honestly, because in 1 and 2, you need the car to rotate and pivot down the racetrack in order to get the runoff, so you need to let the car do the work for you and be patient there. And then in 3 and 4, if you're going too fast and you push the center, you're going to be cranking a lot of wheel into it, and then you're going to miss the exit off of 4. And same thing, you're not going to have as good of a run down the front straightaway, and anybody who runs the corner properly is going to have a lot more grip down there and get a much better run off. So much easier to be easy in. Like I don't even have a breaking point for 3 and 4. It's just feel, right? And you can tell there's a few times where I've kind of missed it, and then there's times where I hit it. More often than not, I feel like I hit it. When you get to the in car, you'll see, at least with my, I feel like with my graphic settings or what have you, I can see kind of where the rubber starts for the corner, and that's usually like if there's no braking indicators or like no, you know, visuals on the wall or something, seeing the track rubber up here, like you can see where the shape or the shade of it kind of changes. That's where I like to, make sure I'm on the brakes by, because that's, I mean, that's a really good visual. It's also a good feel. Don't forget, like this is 10 laps on tires doing this pit stop, and I mean, I've felt like third gear was conservative. Third gear was almost like sketchy. So keep that in mind for anybody who does have to make a green flag pit stop around here. Um, and yeah, here we go. Once the rubber starts, that's where I'm getting on the brakes. Let the car roll. You see my inputs there. Letting the car roll through the center, and that's how you get this nice run off of turn 2. Just going through the gears. You will see on my lap 10 when I go quiet, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I always like to pre-gear. So even coming off the corners, like just naturally, I'm holding my shift up button, and then once you blip, it's going to shift. Well, off of turn 2 on the lap 10 here, I was holding it, kind of burped the throttle because I thought I was going to hit the wall, and shifted into 4th. And I decided I wanted to leave that in here because it's not very punishing, right? Like I didn't really lose a whole lot of time doing it, so um, you know, little mistakes you can get away with essentially. All right, guys. Don't really have anything else to touch on. I feel like I've gone over everything that I wanted to make note of. Again, very rhythm racetrack, requires a lot of patience, a lot more patience than you would think. I don't really know how racing around here is going to go with other cars. I don't think 1 and 2 is very lane sensitive. Like the higher up you run, the bigger run you're going to get off. It's just the time that you give up in the middle of the corner, essentially, well, entry to center, basically. And again, I think tires are always going to be a huge impact. Like whoever saves their tires more is going to be faster on the long run. So if you're in a position where you can't really gain anything, like the best thing you could do is save. Um, just try to keep some heat out of the tires for the long run. You don't want to get past that threshold. Speaking of tires, 94, 95 on the rights for 10 laps. I feel like that's pretty solid. Obviously, in traffic, it's going to wear more and what have you. But um, yeah, all in all, I felt like it was pretty solid. Again, I don't really have a ton of laps around here, but I feel like I can navigate my way around, and hopefully that this helps you guys as well. Like I said, first lane in 1 and 2, you're not going to see very many people use it unless they're trying to like pull a slide job or something, just trying to cut distance off the track. But then again, your center is going to be so slow that I feel like anybody's just going to be able to cross you over. So again, patience is a virtue. Race the racetrack. Again, kind of like a Darlington, a track like this where it's, especially in 3 and 4 where it's lane sensitive, like you're going to see a lot of passes in 3 and 4 on the bottom. Just take care of yourself. Don't put yourself in any unnecessary position. Don't force it, right? If you're a car length back, it's not worth dive bombing somebody to try to establish a position, because you're just going to melt your tires doing it, right? Just be patient, trust yourself, and once you get position, just know that once you have the preferred lane, you're going to make the pass. You just have to be patient. All right, guys, that'll just about do it for this week's video. As always, if you find that this video was helpful, please consider leaving a like. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to clarify or tell me that I did wrong. Like I said, I'm open to feedback too. I'm not the greatest, especially around tracks I don't have a lot of experience at. Let me know in the comments. I check these comments all the time throughout the week. I look forward to seeing them. No comments is a good thing. That means I covered everything and didn't need to re-explain anything. So it's also not a bad thing. But like I said, if you guys don't hesitate, if you guys have anything that you want to discuss or question or whatever, don't hesitate. Drop a comment and I'll get back to it. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you ring that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and that way you can see these videos every Monday when they're posted on the Maconi YouTube page. All right, guys, best of luck this week, and we'll see you on the track.